Welcome to Unblitz Technology. Today our topic is AWS IAM, that is Identity Access Management. Identity Access Management is the security which we are providing to the different users we are creating on AWS for different purpose. We have to provide access to storage or for EC2 instance. So let's see how we can provide the policies and rights and role to this IAM user. Now here, by default in this AWS account, the root user is already created and it is logged in. But by default, the password is attached with this user, so only the security which we have provided is like a password authentication. But in IAM, there is another method, that is multi-factor authentication. Right now, multi-factor authentication is not attached with the root user, so we will just create it. So just click on add MFA. In add MFA, we have to create a device name. After that, these are different methods. First is authenticator app. We can download authenticator app from the Google, and with the help of that we can authenticate here. So I have already downloaded authenticator app on my mobile or on computer. You can access it. Here we have to just scan this code on your authenticator. So just scan this QR code. After that, whatever the MFA code display on your authenticator app, you have to enter that. Two code will be displayed on your mobile and you have to enter. This is what the MFA is added. So now this account is not only secured with the password but also multi-factor authenticator, which will be there in your mobile, and when you enter that, your account will be accessible. So now you can see this, your root account is already have MFA. How we can check this? Just sign out with this, and when we again log in back, it will ask you, I'll enter the, now it will ask me the MFA, that is multi-factor authentication, which is there on your mobile. So just enter. Once it is entered, it will be accessible with that. Okay, so this is what we have seen, how multi-factor authentication is added. After that, we can see some other different options from the IAM. So first of all, we will go with the users. So how can we create a different user for that? First of all, we will create a new user. Suppose here I am going to create a new user, that is admin. What option I have to provide? Provide user access to the AWS management console. Or once you have provided that user access to the AWS management console, right? After that, what identity you want to provide? Either I have to create specify user in the identity center, which is recommended. We are going to select this. Or you can create user, IAM user. For this, now it will ask you the console password. It will be auto generated. If you want custom, you can select this option also. Once this is, user must create a new password at the next login, that is compulsory. So just click on next. After this, now create this, where you are going to create this user. The user should have certain policies, certain permissions, what he can access, what kind of permissions he will have. So for that, you have to add that user into the group. So just create a group here. Now, which kind of group you want to create, it will decide what permission will be applied to the user. So here, suppose I am going to create user for the developer. So developers group I have created. and what rights, what job function I have to apply to this group. So maybe you have different groups here already present, like administrator access. So it will get a full access. What access it will get, you can see from this JSON file. That is, it should have allow on all the resources, and action will be allowed. All actions are allowed. So here you can see this. After this, you can also have different group, like suppose you want to provide some billing permissions, billing full conduct full access, or AWS billing read only access. You can select that group also. Suppose you want to provide the database administrator functions, so you can select that group also. So according to that, you can select. Now here I am going to provide full access, that is administrator access to the developer group. According to that, you can select multiple group also. So create a user group. Once this user group is created, okay, and that user will be the member of this developer group. Now just click next. After that, what kind of permissions, what is the password? It is auto generated. You have to change your password at the next login. Permission summary is mentioned here, right? Just create a user here. Once this user is created, the password is also there. You can also send this detail to the user via email. Sign in instruction, you can send it to the user also. If you want to download it because you don't know these details, right? So you can just download this file, so it will display the details of this password, right? After that, you have retrieved that password, return to the user list. This user is created. Okay, this is what we have seen, how to create a user. We can also see the users, which group, we have to add this user into the group. So this user is now the member of this group, right? User, and it is in which group? See, that user is added into the group, that is developer. So this is what we have created user, and we have created one group, and that group is associated with the administrator access policy, so that user automatically get the administrator access policy. This is what we have created user and group. After that, you can create a different role. For that, you have to, what is mean by role? This is very important topic regarding the IAM, because whenever you are creating users, or whenever you are creating different roles, so according to the role, it will decide that whatever that user is getting permissions, policies. So for that, you have to create a role. Suppose that AWS, now for which service you have to provide that role, that you have to select. Allow AWS service like EC2, Lambda, what kind of actions are performed in this particular account. So we have to provide this policy for the EC2 access. So just select this AWS service. Which service type you want to select? So I have to select here the EC2 instance service. Okay. You can select anyone which you want. Just click next. After that, what permission policies you want to apply here? Now suppose that particular policy should have access to the storage. So I have to select here S3 access. Amazon S3 full access. So this is what a storage Amazon S3. So I want to provide this full access. Permission policies are, you can select multiple policy. So currently I am selecting here S3 full access. Just click next. Now this is what the selected entities which we have selected. Role name, suppose I have to provide here role name as S3 access, EC2, S3 access. This is the role name. Allow EC2 instance to call AWS services on your behalf. Okay. So because we have provided permission, so it will access it, and the policy name is Amazon S3 full access, right? In this way, we have created a role. So this is what a role, and what this role possesses, you can see here. It can have the policy name which we have inserted here. You can create a custom made policy also, right? So this is what, how to create a, you can create a different policies also, and you can attach that policy to the role also. Okay, so that is what, how to create a role. Okay, after that you can also create some policies like how to provide the permission. Like suppose I have to provide it is for EC2. So what access it should have, all EC2 instance actions, or maybe you can select list the EC2 instance, means you want to list the attributes only, describe address, describe attribute zones, what kind of permission you want to see. You can select it from this access level, means what kind of levels, access levels you want to provide, you can select from this. If I select this, then all the permissions will be, required permissions not selected. That means you have to select on all EC2 instance, the permissions will be there. Okay. Specify resource ARN means for a particular um, account you want to select, you can select that particular account here. Okay. This is what, how to specify the permission. Just click next. Policy detail, policy name you want to create, you can create a policy name also. What kind of description will take, and what kind of permissions you want to add into the policy, that shortcut you can describe. All EC2 instance will be accessible. Okay, like this, just create a policy. So we have seen how to create a policy, and in the policies you can see that policy, view policy. Okay, this is what you have created a policy, right? Policy 1. After this, you can say check the account settings. That means what kind of password policy it will have, and if you want to change the policy, you can change the policy also. Okay, so this is what the account setting. If you want to edit it, you can see IAM default, apply default password requirement, or if you want to change that, you can go for a custom and change the password policy. Like suppose you want minimum password length is 8 character, password strength, that means you want alphanumeric password, so capital A to Z, small a to Z, at least one number, some characters you want to include into the policy, into the password, you can select that. Turn on password expiration, you want that password expiration required administrator reset, or if you want that allow user to change their own password, whatever the setting you want, you can save that and change the policy custom way. Okay, so I have selected that in account setting. I have changed the password policy, right? So this is what you can change. So that's it. This is all about IAM. Okay, thank you so much.